This is DWBS Sports. DWBS Sports, it's your favorite show. DWBS Sports, where degenerates go. DWBS Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Haldeman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a very special edition of the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. We got Samich with us today, too. You're laughing. Do you not like the opening, Samich?
I had not seen the AP comment in there before, so I loved it.
Well, we're going to be live here this evening for the national championship game, TCU and Georgia. We did this last year, Papa Dude. It was a lot of fun. Are you ready again this season?
I am. We thought it was only going to be a half, and we were on for the entire game because everybody stuck with us. And we'll see what happens tonight. You know, some of us are some people thinking it's going to be a blowout, and we may be bored at the half. Who knows?
That's just it. We're only committing for a half because if it's 35-0, 35-7, we're getting the hell out of here. We're not going to sit around the second half. That's the luxury we have of doing this on our own here. So, listen, it's going to get interesting. I'll go ahead and just throw the lineup and the numbers up for you guys now to take a look at here. TCU, a 13.5-point underdog here. I don't think anybody really believes they're going to be able to hang over under here, set at 62. Samich, I'll kick it to you first. You are our guest. What do you think of these numbers? Where are you looking into this game?
Yeah, it's interesting. The totals actually ticked down. It was as high as 64 at one point. It was 63 today at the start of the day. Now it's 62. I like the over a little bit here. I have it at 62.5. I bet it earlier today. I kind of comped this game to LSU Georgia, where I felt Georgia was just able to move the ball up and down the field. LSU was able to hit some big plays and get some points up. I kind of expect a similar game here. I think at some point Georgia probably pulls away. Do they win by 2 touchdowns? Not sure. I think that's a pretty good number, that 13.5 number. But I do like the over 62 to kind of kick off my night here.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of game it is, what kind of flow happens in this game here. It's definitely could be a lopsided one. What about you, Papa D? Do you think this thing gets lopsided? Who are you going with?
Well, I did some research, believe it or not. That's why you got me. And I went back to 1998. Since we've had the playoffs, looked at the point spreads. Okay?
Okay.
All right. In 2000, Oklahoma was a 10-point underdog. They won.
Right.
And I think it was 2011, Miami was a 12 or 11 or 12-point underdog. They lost by 7. And in 2013, Florida State was an 11-point underdog, and they beat Auburn. So 2 out of 3 times, these double-digit underdogs have played better than we think. And I remember back in 2000, nobody thought OU was going to beat Florida State, and they dominated them. So sometimes this happens. Biggest point spread differential ever since 1998. This is the biggest favorite we've had. And I think a lot of it is because TCU is TCU. If they were playing Oklahoma, if they were playing Texas, if they were playing anybody else, I don't think it would be 13.5. I just don't think TCU gets any respect. We've watched them all year. We don't respect them like we should either. So I think the point spread's too much. I do. I don't think TCU wins, but I think they're going to keep this thing interesting for a while.
I'm gonna throw it right back at you here real quick because you mentioned the TCU not getting any respect because they're TCU. How do you compare this TCU team to, say, like Baker Mayfield's senior year at Oklahoma or Kyler Murray's year at Oklahoma? Because, yes, TCU not getting any respect because of the jersey, but is that TCU team better than those Oklahoma teams that had, no success basically in the playoff?
I don't know. I think they are. I think they're a little bit better defensively, maybe. I don't know. We'll just have to see. When you look at the statistics and you start breaking it down, which one of the teams would you guys say have gained the most yards per game? Georgia or TCU? Wouldn't both of you probably say TCU?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Georgia is averaging 494 a game, TCU 475. So that kind of stunned me when I looked at that. This Georgia defense is not near as good as last year statistically. They've given up 305 yards per game. It was like 200 and something last year going into this. So they're not quite as good defensively. And I don't think they're as good as they were last year. But I do think they're going to have to help the Horned Frogs if the Frogs have a chance. I think they're going to have to turn the ball over. I do.
Samich, for me, it's the line of scrimmage. That's the big worry for me. Can TCU match up? And I'm talking both lines. Can their offensive line hold up? Can their defensive line do anything to kind of neutralize Georgia in the run game or get pressure on the quarterback? How do you see this matchup? Because this does definitely have the feel of the bullies of the SEC versus a Big 12 school that's not one of the powerhouses perennially.
It does. But when you talk about the offensive and defensive line, the trenches really, and you look at the semifinal games, you would have said the exact same thing about Michigan TCU, that Michigan should be able to manhandle them. And they manhandled Ohio State. And Ohio State didn't have, I didn't think, a glaring issue in the trenches against Georgia. And TCU, I thought, was as physical or more physical than Michigan in that game. So if you look at the recent comps, TCU should be able to hold up. Now, motivation-wise, I think you have a big edge on the TCU side, and that's why the first half is going to be really interesting to me, and whether or not Georgia's going to be able to create margin in the first half, because you mentioned Papa Dude, the largest underdog ever. That's something Sonny Dykes is using tenfold in the locker room, right? No one believes in us. It's one of the most powerful things in sports, the no one believes in us line. And that's exactly what you have from TCU's side. This line's creeped up consistently, so it's gotten bigger and bigger dogs. And as we've gotten closer to the game, I don't think the line of scrimmage is going to be a huge issue, specifically in the first half. I think the second half is where you could see Georgia start dominating that line of scrimmage if they are able to get a lead and just run the ball down TCU's throats. But to Papa Dude's point, you talk about, okay, you didn't expect the Georgia offense in that sense. There is better passing game than I think a lot of people would think. They can move, they can throw the ball around with Stetson Bennett when they need to, and they're able to set it up with the run as well. This is just one of those spots where I think you're going to see a relatively good game in the trenches. I think it's pretty evenly matched. I think both teams will have their way on the offensive side of the football. And, I agree with Papa Dude, this Georgia team isn't as good as last year. The defense this year has faced better offenses as well. They've faced some teams that are pretty good, Tennessee, LSU, that both were able to put points up on them. They outscored them in those games. I would lean toward more of that shootout style here because of that. I'm expecting TCU to hold up pretty well in the trenches.
It's funny you brought up the better offenses, and we were together when Georgia played Tennessee, and we just watched Georgia just dominate that Tennessee offense. And that's what has me worried about this game, fellas, and why I'm taking the Bulldogs, and I'll even lay the 13.5. I just think when it comes right down to it, that defense will rise to the occasion. I want you to talk about Stetson Bennett a little bit, Papa Dude, because you've kind of been banging his drum ever since this night last year, really. You bragged about just how damn good he played in that game.
He did.
Everybody likes Max Duggan, and they should. He's, like you described him, as tough as a boot. But talk about Stetson Bennett. You can probably say the same about him. Yeah,
he's one of these unheralded guys, wasn't a five-star. And then, therefore, he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. And another thing is the defense has been so good for Georgia that they get a lot of the recognition, too. I think this guy's underrated as heck. All he's done is won every game except one since he's been the starter. What more do you want? And he was fantastic in the national championship game last year when he had to be. So I think he's really underrated. I think he's good. I think he'll be fine. Another thing, here's another thing on this point spread. What if Michigan had somehow come back and won that game last week? Would they be 13.5-point underdogs? I don't think so. I don't think they would. So I just think TCU's got a shot at keeping this close. I agree with Mike a lot. I thought they held up against Michigan, and we didn't think they would. And I thought they did. And Sonny Dykes, in the factor where you're the big underdog, you've heard this for a whole week. Well, they've heard it all year. That plays a major part in getting off to a good start, for sure. If they can somehow get ahead, the old pressure is going to get on Georgia. By the way, I think we ought to mention another thing. This Georgia team, defending national champions, 14-0. Are they getting enough credit for going 14-0? That's pretty damn hard to do when you're coming off a national championship.
It's pretty crazy. In every game, they've kind of just been like, well, yeah, Georgia's going to win. Oh, yeah, every week. It's like, oh, yeah, well, Georgia will win. Well, Georgia.
Yeah.
The only time anybody really doubted Georgia was that Tennessee game because they were coming off that huge Alabama win. Talk about Tennessee. So, yeah, it's crazy. And back-to-back national championships there for Georgia. That's yeah, you can't take that lightly. That's not easy to do. So, Mitch, one thing you talk about is live betting a lot on whether it be Dudes Who Bet Daily or the Magic Mike Show. What are you looking at here? What's kind of the keys here to your live betting? First couple of drives, what are you wanting to have happen?
Well, first off, the first half total today went from 7 to 7.5. So if you like Georgia in the first half, I would not bet it until after kickoff. If TCU gets the ball, and if I'm TCU and I win the flip here, I'm taking the ball. And if I'm Georgia and I win the flip, I'm deferring to the second half. So TCU, in my mind, either way should get the ball here. If they do, that line will go to sub 7 or at 7 immediately, right? Because you get essentially an extra possession. So if you like Georgia here in the first half, I would wait until after the kickoff where I expect TCU to get the ball and then play Georgia -6.5 or -7 at that point. It's kind of a way to skirt around that line and get the better of the number versus the worse of the number when you're betting right before a football game. We're getting the coin toss right now, so obviously we'll find out if you're able to use that. The other thing I'm interested in here is what the first quarter lines are going to be once this thing starts rolling. You can play these quarter lines pretty aggressively based on number of possessions left in a quarter. Both of these teams are about 3 to 4 minutes of possession when they score the football. So when we get to that 10-minute mark or so, you're going to have the team with the ball who will probably have 2 possessions versus 1 from the other team. And that's a good chance to be able to try and make some type of move in-game, in first quarter, when you have a little better idea of who's going to have the ball those last 2 possessions of the first quarter.
And TCU gets the ball first.
Yeah, Georgia won the toss, and they deferred. And JL's here with us. And, good call, Samich. So keep an eye. I am 99.9% sure what I've got up on the screen will update with live odds once this thing kicks off. If it doesn't, I will update it very quickly so it does. That's why I've got this up on the screen. So, Samich, we're gonna see here pretty quick.
Yeah, and you might even see the line start to move now because you do have TCU getting the ball first here. So it's right now Georgia -7.5, -120 for the first half. Like I said, I would wait to see what happens here and see if you can get that number a little bit better and get under 7. The other thing that I like to do is when you have a big favorite, if the dog gets the ball first and goes down and scores a touchdown, I generally like taking the over. Because that if you see a dog able to put up points, you're going to see points obviously from the favorite, or you're expected to see points from the favorite. So if the underdog puts up points early, that leans toward a over game over first half. So if TCU is able to march down the field and score on this drive, that makes me start looking at that first half and full game over because you'd expect Georgia responds.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very interesting opening drive. Papa Dude, listen, you're an underdog, 13.5 points. You've got all the motivation, blah, blah, blah. You come out and go 3 and out. I think you're in big trouble. What do you think TCU's got to do here? I mean, is it as simple as make a couple first downs, or they need points right here on this first drive?
Oh, it would be huge if they could go get some points. I mean, that would set the stage, settle them down a little bit, and give them confidence. It'll be interesting to see what their play calling is.
Yeah, how aggressive will they get? That's going to be very interesting as well. Throughout the night, I imagine Papa Dude will be a little ahead of Samich and I. Samich and I watching on YouTube TV, usually about 10 seconds behind. Papa Dude's not going to spoil it for us, though, right?
No, I'll keep it to myself. But I am rooting for TCU. So if you see me jumping up and down, something could happen.
Well, okay.
Bovada's going to spoil it for us. They're already 1 play ahead of me.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah. Well, hold on now. They just had the kickoff. You haven't had the kickoff yet?
I do now.
Okay. All right. Well, don't look at that up on the screen here.
Yeah.
All right. This is big. Max Duggan, can he get it going here?
They run the ball pretty well. I think they'll try to establish some sort of a running game.
Listen, if they can't establish a run, that's going to be huge for them. I'm skeptical that they can do that, but I am. That would be huge for them if they can. And there you see, yes, the live lines are up. It's now -14.5, so it changed upward. That has me worried there might be a turnover about to happen. I haven't seen it.
I will spoil. There was a penalty.
Okay.
You saw -6.5 for a split second after that kickoff. -6.5, -130 for Georgia. It's something to look for if you are in-game betting or if you want to bet a first half. whoever gets the ball, immediately you're going to see them get a half point, full point for the side for the half. So it's a great way to get around those key numbers in certain spots.
All right. Well, I don't think it's going well for Georgia based on these numbers. This is now minus 15 and a half. So I mean, TCU, I don't think it's going well for here. We will see what happens in this game. So I've got the first down play. They're finally going to run it. And it doesn't look good. Nope, incomplete. Okay. Well, they did go deep. They tried to go deep there the first play. He was open, Papa Dude.
He was, and that's not a good sign either that Dugan didn't complete that pass because he was wide open.
He had time at least, right?
Yeah, from TCU's perspective, I like the throw there on first down. Unfortunately, the penalty made it a little more likely, so the defense probably not playing the run as hard there. But I like the idea that you're able to throw. He had time, was able to move in the pocket, and he had a weak receiver open downfield. And that's something this TCU team has done exceptionally well all season is big plays. So it's whether or not they're able to get those big plays.
If he hits him in stride, it's probably going to be a big-time gain. Little screen pass for 3 here. So they're going to have third and long. That's not what they wanted right out of the gate here at all.
Yeah, and Jason mentioned it here. Sportsbooks are about 10 seconds ahead of the live broadcast, 10 to 15 seconds, depending on the game and how it plays out. So it's one of the tough parts about in-game betting, why often commercial betting is the best way to go, unless you're specifically looking to snipe a first-half line like that Georgia 6.5.
I remember last year the commercials is where we really saw the lines, move, and we were able to concentrate and pick what we wanted there as well. All right, 3rd down and 12 for TCU. They desperately need a first down. It's going to be tough to convert. He had time again and kind of a poor throw. So 3 and out, Papa Dude.
It's not a good start for Max Dugan. 2 misfires. He's got to play a great game to win.
Well, I think the good news is he had time to throw both times, and he had guys that were open both times. But as Dennis says, this is going to get ugly if Dugan can't make plays.
No, obviously.
I mean, he has to make plays.
Let's get obvious there, Dennis.
Dennis is drunk tonight. He texts me. So.
Oh, he's already okay.
Yeah, so Dennis will bear with us tonight as we go. Great field position for Georgia. Let's see if we get a commercial here and what this line. Yeah, we might get one. Are we getting a commercial, Papa?
Nope, no commercial.
Going right to it. 16.5 now. So if you bet Georgia minus 13.5, you're feeling good right now. You're 2 points ahead of what the current market is.
If I was Georgia, I'd go deep right here. Oh, yep. Watch the line go down a little.
All right. Well, Papa Dude says Georgia should go deep. Let's see if they go deep here.
They're not going to go deep. Well, they might now because they just got a penalty.
We got another penalty here early.
Mm-hmm. Both teams have false started.
That was a run play. That was a pulling guard.
Yep.
So they were going to run to the short side of the field there where they didn't have the wide receivers.
The back was already leaning that way as well. So it looked like the center screwed that one up. Everybody moved but the center on that one.
Yeah, I like the false start on everyone but the center calls. Those are my favorite false starts.
Which isn't great for the center, ironically. So. All right. Well, 1st and 15 here. We'll see what the Bulldogs can do. Boy, if they could get up 7-0 early, it would be a big time. And listen, they just ran the same play they would have ran on the first down or on the first play, and they got like 8. So
found a nice hole there.
Yeah, not good. I'm not liking what I'm seeing for this being a competitive game already. I'm worried about it. But I came in worried about it. So
first quarter total, it's sitting at 12.5. Seems a little interesting on the over side. We're only a minute and a half into this thing. If Georgia goes down and scores here, I would be surprised if you don't see 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
I think you're right about that one. And Mark says he's the bar in St. Charles, Missouri. Very pro TCU. These people aren't very smart. Great place, St. Charles. A lot of nice bars over there.
They think they're going to win.
Maybe they're just rooting for him there, Mark. First down to the 34 now. 2 plays, slicing through them.
They only rushed 3. He had all day. They're going to have to get more pressure than that on him.
Yeah.
One thing you talked about, Papa Dude, was Stetson Bennett and how many starts he has and how he's been a gamer. This is a great time for him to be in this game because you talk about nerves in these championship games. He's been here before in the championship game, played a ton of big games in his career. This is one of those spots where Stetson Bennett probably not going to have an NFL career. maybe a backup, right? But
Yep.
this is a perfect game for him to be playing in a big college spot.
After some of the quarterbacks I saw in the NFL yesterday, I think this guy can be in the NFL as a backup. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Sylvain wanted to know what we bet. I've got Georgia minus 13.5. I am just very, very confident they're going to blow them out. So that's for me. Thomas, anything Sylvain needs to root for here?
I took over 62, and I took minus 6.5, minus 130 in the first half for Georgia when it flashed real quick.
Well, I think you're in good shape right now. Right now, the live line up to 16.5. That over-under at 60.5. I think that's I would go over that for sure. I just feel like this is a really good sign the way Georgia has sliced through them with a couple plays. But 2 penalties for Georgia now as they got another illegal procedure. We'll see if that matters. Georgia's out throwing it, man. There's a tight end screen. Pretty good call there. He got the penalty yardage back plus a lot, about 4 or 5 more. So, wow.
When they play sneaky quick too. They're not a team that likes to stand over the ball like you would expect. I mean, you think of Georgia, you think of we're going to run down your throat. We're going to run the play clock. They play pretty quickly, and that's one of the reasons why I do lean toward the over here is because if they're running a bunch of plays, TCU is going to play fast. Could be a lot of possessions in this game.
I don't know how you guys feel watching this, but TCU looks very small out there on the field right now with their defense versus these Georgia offensive.
Up front, it's no match.
Yeah.
They're tiny compared to Georgia.
Big hitter there, got another 6 yards. They're just
and they had a chance to stop that for no gain or to even a loss, and he missed the tackle because the back was way too physical.
I was going to say the size of the back was bigger than the size of the linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting too. JL brought this up earlier, but TCU plays an interesting defense. They play a 3-3-5, so it's 3 linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. May not be the best style to face a team like Georgia with a 3-3-5 versus playing your traditional 4-2-5 or 4-3-4.
They talked about that a lot against Bennett. Just cap it, and he's going to score a touchdown Georgia right off the bat. Listen, if Stetson Bennett is running in from 20 yards out, it's going to be a long, long night.
Untouched.
Yeah, no, yeah, and he kind of juked one of their secondary players too. And that's not a good sign either. They talked about that a lot. In the Michigan game, they didn't think the 3-3-5 would hold up. In reality, it didn't. But Michigan gave them a lot of turnovers and a lot of points.
Well, that's the key in any of these games, right? When you are, I'm not going to say inferior, but when you're the less talented of the two teams, you need breaks to go your way, right? Yeah. They're going to need to turn over Georgia a couple times, or Georgia to take penalties or holding calls that stop drives, things like that, to be able to keep this offense at bay.
Well, 4 minutes into the game, it's 7-0.
And we've gone from 13.5 to 20 now.
Yeah. Well,
are we looking at the new Alabama?
I mean, I think so. I
don't know. The one thing about Alabama, like the last few years when they were dominant, you think about their draft picks and the receivers and where they went in the draft, how good they are in the NFL. Georgia doesn't have that top tier level of talent on the outside. The job they've done on this defense, though, I think it was 6 or 7 first rounders from Georgia's defense last year. To be able to be back in this spot with another elite defense is very impressive.
It is.
But they don't have that same skill position. But I think it's they've been 1 or 2 recruiting wise the last 5 years. You're starting to see that show up here.
Yep. I think they are the new Alabama, and they've got kind of a coach from the Alabama mold, obviously, and he's younger, and he might be a little bit more dynamic as far as recruiting to the younger generation than Nick Saban, and they might be out recruiting Alabama right now, and that's the key. I don't care what you say, that's the key.
Have you noticed that the better Alabama has gotten at quarterback, because they've been elite at quarterback the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, the worse they've got on defense.
It's interesting.
Notice that? When they had the pedestrian quarterbacks, when they were winning with what was that guy's name? What's his name?
Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones. Who was the other guy?
Mac Jones and
analyst now.
Yeah, Greg McElroy. Yeah,
just pedestrian quarterbacks. their defense was nails then.
Well, do you think, and part of that reason is because they didn't sling it all over the place?
It probably, yeah.
That you have less possessions in the game, you're running the ball more. So
Yeah.
it kind of tends to help the defense if you're not on the field as much.
Yeah.
I have a theory on defense. I think mindset is a big, big part of it. I think when you've got dynamic offenses, your defense doesn't focus as much. And when you go into a game and you have a bad offense, your defense is laser locked in because they know they can't make mistakes or they're going to get beat.
Could
I've
be.
always thought that.
It also could be they get their ass kicked in practice every day.
That could be too.
But they get to thinking we suck.
I always thought, though, Oklahoma, some of the problem, not this year, they were just horrible, but some of the years, it's like they just got into these shootout mentalities, and they were just like, well, we can give up 45 and still win.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
We just have to stop one time at the end.
Right,
That's what they
exactly.
thought.
Yeah. Well, okay. Listen, TCU's got to score here now.
They've got to do. They got to at least move the ball.
Yeah. Doc Tang asked, by the way, Doc, congratulations on horse tourneys yesterday. Another big win for Doc. Man, he's on fire. Samich, come on, man. You gotta knock Doc off here.
I haven't tried BC. I'm happy he's double qualified. I don't have to beat him now.
Isn't that something? He's already double qualified. That's crazy. He says, what'd be a good number to take more on Georgia now? And he said, I guess we need TCU to score. Yeah, if you want to bet in game Georgia, you better hope TCU scores here. You may not get a number again. That's worth taking.
Yeah, I mean, you could play Georgia's point total 41.5 for the game. You could take, 23.5 for the first half. I would lean toward over in the first half specifically. Based on the way that drive went, I'd be surprised if they don't put up 24 in this first half, especially since we're already at 7. And because TCU is going to play quick or go 3 and out. So you should get quite a few possessions here for Georgia as well.
Yeah. I think you're right about that for sure. Dennis says he would take TCU right now, plus that 21.5, but he's drunk, so we'll see how that works out. Drunk and gambling. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And let's see, TCU loses like 8 yards on first. Listen, we may be off by the first quarter.
We might
because this looks like a nightmare game right now. A nightmare.
This looks like the varsity against the junior varsity.
It does. It does. This is bad.
If he had handed it off, they would have been stuffed too. There was nowhere to go with that.
No.
They look huge compared to TCU. And, I mean, it's crazy. They've got to get something going. Doug, he better make a play quick. They did have receivers open on that first drive. So
yeah, you got to go to the air here. I think the run game is going to be tough. I like that quick little screen pass. It's not going to do much, but at least you see him complete a pass and see what you can do with it.
Jason's got a good idea here. We could switch to some hockey. Let me see. Now, Jason, we might keep the show football related, but I'm switching to hockey here pretty quick, I think. Let's see what's on tonight. I haven't even looked at it yet. The Flyers are already ahead of the Sabres 3-0. Oh, there's nothing going on in hockey really either.
We got Bucks Knicks that kicked off, or that tipped off already. You get a little Bucks in game going here, down 1 in New York right now.
Yeah, you could watch paint dry too, just as fun. Right. 114. Here we go. Let's see.
There's some big time college basketball tonight. All the rinky-dink teams play tonight.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the hockey games are 3-0 and 2-0. We do have Predators Senators that are 0-0. I guess we could turn it to that. We got a flag. What did we get? I missed it.
Holding on the defense, 5 yards on the first down.
Got a first down. That may be the only first down.
Edmonton, LA, late night. That's the hockey game.
Oh, that's gonna be a great game. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
You have to come back on at 10:30.
I'm drinking the coffee now, so I can stay up for that one. So that's a huge play because they were getting ready to go down 14-0 without any doubt because they went 3 and out again. But now we got a first down.
I hate to spoil it for you.
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's good for my over 12.5 first quarter.
Yes, it is.
You've got over and Georgia with anything. You're probably going to have a good night.
mean, I don't mind the Georgia points here early too as an over better because TCU is going to have to keep ratcheting it up, and Georgia's. I'm not sure TCU doesn't or stops them for a while. Like it could take a minute here before they actually shutter it up.
I'm not sure Georgia doesn't get the over themselves. Like,
well, in these title games too, you see it a lot where you get these huge point totals by one team, and the other team keeps trying and pressing, and it allows more points toward the end of the game versus a regular season game.
Yeah, no doubt. Georgia's got the golden shoulder pads there for a turnover. They're having a great time. Georgia acts like, oh, we won the national championship last week. Like they've been out. Now we're going to run a trick play.
You know.
TCU had it stopped and
they had it. Yeah, I was getting ready to say, even when they snuff it out, they get killed. They had that play. They were not fooled at all on that play.
No, they were not. They have 3 guys to the outside ready to stop him. It's a tight end, and he cuts back in for 6 yards. It's not like
it's a very good tight end. Bowers is solid. No. But yeah, not exactly the most dynamic runner.
Can't let that happen.
I'm telling you, this kid can pass. He can throw it.
Oh, that guy was covered, and he still caught it. This is
with a bullet.
This is over.
On the run and zing that thing in there. How big is he? He's not very big, is he? The quarterback.
I don't really know his size.
I would guess about 6'1" based on the height of the line.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
What a catch.
Yeah, that's a really good grab.
Sylvain says men playing kids so far.
Yep.
I would agree.
I mean, this is just the exact start you didn't want, obviously, if you're TCU. Like you needed to try and come out fast here if you wanted to try and keep this close. You don't want to be chasing 2 touchdowns against Georgia 7 minutes in.
No.
Bennett 5'11", according to ESPN.
Oh, that's all he is. There goes the pro.
But this is his Super Bowl. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was last year. It is this year again. It's probably the biggest game he ever plays in these last 2 title games.
Yeah. That's why he wasn't a 5-star either.
90 total yards to 1.
Is that good?
That's good for Georgia.
Yeah.
It's not good for our entertainment.
You think about this too. I mean, Georgia gets the ball at the 45, and then they get the ball at TCU's 30. I mean, that's tough.
This is a huge. Have you guys seen the second down play yet?
Yeah.
Big 3rd and 7 here.
This is huge.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a 10-0 here, you've kind of weathered that turnover storm. Absolutely.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. You've got a little bit of life.
All right. They stop.
You got something positive if you hold them to 3 here, right? For the first time in this game.
Yeah. Let's see what they do here. And good tackle. Really good open field tackle.
That gives you a little bit of life. You made a good play.
Yeah.
Now you need a miracle, and he misses this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you got to kick here, right? You're not going for it. 3 yards.
No reason to do it.
Not with that defense they've got. Well, they dodged the bullet.
It really is a win there. Really is a win for the TCU defense.
It is. It keeps them in it.
Yeah. But
Now they have to go do something.
Yeah, you got to go make a play now. 100%. Good snap, and it's good. 10-0. Like I said, it's still a nightmare scenario to start, but that at least is something positive. And let's look at our line now. 21.5 for Georgia. So if you bet a -13.5, you're feeling good. Dr. Tang asked, hey, when's the number we could get more or put more on Georgia? Again, you need TCU to score right here on this drive. If it's 10-7, you're going to get a decent enough number to maybe play again, right, Samich?
Yeah, you could. If you like Georgia, the first half number is 15.5. So you're laying 5.5 for the rest of the half. I mean, if you feel like TCU is not going to be able to move the football, I would be playing the 15.5 first half because you're going to have a motivated Georgia offense through at least halftime here. And if TCU doesn't put up points, the Georgia is going to have 24, 28, 31 points here in the first half.
We've seen about 7 minutes, Papa Dude. That number is 61.5 as far as the over-under. It started at 62, 63, depending on where you looked. What do you think?
Well,
I mean, are you confident enough that TCU is going to be able to score enough?
no, I don't think you can be yet, can you? I mean, they've had the ball twice. They have 1 yard.
That's not good. You're not wrong.
Unless, we see this sometimes too. Georgia, let's say they go on and it's 35-6 at the half. We've seen this with Alabama in the past and stuff. They're not going to run the score upon them. They will not embarrass them in a game like this. So TCU could score some points late. But right now, it looks to me like they're going to have a hard time getting to 20.
Yeah.
The way it looks.
Yeah, this is kind of TCU though. It's like all year.
It is.
They either have scoring drives or they go 3 and out. Like they don't have any of it because of their big play offense, because you see a lot of chunk 20-yard plus plays. I'll be more optimistic than you, Papa Dude. They had 2 open receivers in the first drive. The key is to not try, and JL mentioned it, trying to beat this defense on the outside, running stretch run plays, not a great idea if you're TCU. Drop back, throw the rock, try and make some plays. That you got to put up points here, and running wide receiver sweeps is not the way to do it.
No, absolutely not. Doc Tane got 65.5, got the under there. So that's looking pretty solid at this point. Yeah. What was TCU's team total? Did you have that in front of you, Samich?
Right now,
okay.
TCU's team total is 20.5 for the game. Georgia's 41.5, both juiced to the under.
Okay.
TCU first half is 7.5.
Gosh. That's almost worth trying, but I just, with 1 yard of offense, it's hard to do at this point. But I don't know. 2 scores would be a lot. They better get it here. They better get some possession.
We'll see if old Lincoln Riley Jr. comes up with some brilliant play calling here. What's his first name? Garrett?
Yeah. Yeah.
God, they look just alike, don't they?
They do. They definitely do. Good offensive minds. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But not much you can do if you're outmanned, and he got that one into the end zone.
Nope. Not much you can do when you're getting demoralized out there. Totally.
Right. We need positive plays from TCU on this drive. We need a first down that's not a penalty. We need something to give us hope that this is going to be a good game, and that we're going to be around for the third quarter. All right. Can they do it? Can they get something going? I would go down the field. I would go vertical here. Or run it. That's not bad though. They got yards.
4 yards.
And that they have that with that they quadrupled their yardage.
Even the mark with penalty yards for.
Well, yeah, you got to look at the positives. It's now 90-5.
It does.
Or 95.
There we go.
Okay, something's happened.
Something good's going to happen here for TCU based on that.
I'm good.
I think so.
Watch that line go down.
I've got an eye on it. Nothing moving yet.
I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go. Oh my God, wide open.
Oh, run it in. Go, 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 go. Oh, don't pirouette.
That's all right.
That would have been a touchdown had the pass been better.
Yeah.
Unbelievably, yeah. I mean, there was nobody close to this guy. Perfect play. They needed it. Perfect as far as getting a bunch of yards, not a perfect pass.
This is TCU though. That first run, they run hurry up off it, get to the line right away. Now they're downfield again. I mean, TCU is going to be big play offense. They're going to need these big strikes to stay in the game. That's how they move the football here.
Nice run again.
It is imperative they get in the end zone here, by the way.
I agree.
You cannot be kicking field goals here. And I would even consider this 4-down territory if you're anything less than 2.
Yeah. You got to get in the end zone. You have to. Big time play.
Play they had to have.
Yeah. They had to get going. They got it. What happened? We got a guy hurt now. So, boy, that was big.
That was huge.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're down to 17 and a half now instead of 21 and a half.
The total just jumped from 30 to 36 and a half in the first half, from that 62 to 65 and a half in the game. Obviously, the closer it stays, the more likely this thing goes over too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, this is going to get really interesting if they
Well,
score
they can
here.
get this in there.
What's that?
If they can score here, we got a game.
Yeah, and you're going to have another line that is bettable.
Bettable.
Yeah, I would say.
I think, Mike, it drops 2 points, maybe 3, if they score.
If they score, I bet this goes back to 13 and a half or 14. So, yeah, it'll be between 13 and a half and 14 and a half, depending on where the book is. It has money, right? The first half line will probably go under, probably right around 6.5, 7 again. So if you do want to try and play back, I mean, you're going to get close to pre-game lines here if it's a 3-point game 10 minutes into the first quarter.
Down to 16 and a half during this commercial break. So it dropped another point here.
On one play. Crazy.
Yeah. And look, just, that one play, the over-under was 60 and a half. It jumped up to 65 and a half. Now it's down to 64 and a half. So it's pretty amazing. You watch these lines in game and how they flipped. You remember last year, Papa Dude, how that thing flipped fast for Georgia once they got going.
Yep.
It's interesting too. I mean, I'm not surprised you're seeing money toward the under there at the 65 number. I know quite a few people who liked the under at 63. So if you're getting this opportunity now here, especially if you think TCU is not going to score that many points, 65 and a half seems like a good number there. I still think this is a point palooza. I think we're going over 70, but we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, you've been hard on that opinion from the very beginning. Even when we were watching this, you go, "Oh no, TCU will get back in this thing." So. I'll tell you what, a touchdown here would go a long ways towards getting you there. I'm still sitting here thinking, okay, Max Duggan, we have seen some shakiness. Maybe that pass got you going. He's going to have to play a lot better and be a lot more accurate than he has been so far. Not to say he's not going to say it is a shaky start that may have been hopefully remedied by that big play.
Just got to settle in, right? I mean, that's the key. You got to, especially for Duggan, who's not had a game like this. Really, this is the biggest game of his career so far, right? And last week was the biggest game of his career before this one. So it's one of those spots where you're not shocked. There's a little bit of nerves here coming out of the gate for him.
Yep. And like I said, big play. Now, if you go out and maybe you throw a touchdown pass right here, it's like, okay, he's in it. He's back in the thing. So we'll see.
It is amazing TCU's in this game. They survived so many times. They're showing the field goal against Baylor right now. I mean, they just were cardiac kids the entire season.
Yeah, they were. Barely squeaked by Oklahoma too. Oh wait, no, down to the 2.
See, now this is now 4-down territory. You run. You are running the ball or running play action fake here on both of these 2 downs. I would probably run the play action fake here on 3rd and 1 and run it on 4th down.
How much money do you think was bet during the timeout?
Across all the books, probably close to 200,000.
Crazy. But that's where we're at right now with sports.
It's so easy now. That's the thing. I mean, there's just so many different places and ways that you can do it.
Touchdown, Max Duggan.
There goes the cash. Is the first quarter over. 12 and a half. Thanks, guys. Wow. 5 minutes left.
Well, there you go. So they're in it. They're back in it. Let's see what it drops to now. We're waiting.
Oh, who's got dollar wings? I'm jealous of Shoddy here. That's a hell of a promotion for a national title game.
Yeah, that would be wow. Where do you work, Shoddy? We're coming. We're close to Shoddy. We only live like an hour and a half from Shoddy, I think. So.
By the way, I got a coin from Shoddy today. Thanks a bunch.
You all should have coins. Samich, you get your coins yet?
I've got my coins. I got them up in Saratoga.
No, you got new coins.
You're going to get a new one.
Oh, no, I don't. Did you send it to the right address? I've got like 17 addresses right now.
No, I sent it to the one you're living at currently. Yeah. Look at this coin. You probably can't see it. It's the moon.
So you got a moon? So all of us got moon coins?
Yeah. Well, I did.
I got to go check my mailbox now.
It's actually a replica of the moon.
Of the moon.
Well, but the moon's round.
What are you talking about?
The moon's not flat.
God damn it, Samich.
It's a coin. It's a coin. That's the definition of a coin.
Kyrie Irving would love that coin.
Listen, I'm going to get Dennis on here in a second, Samich. And Papa Dude and I are going to leave. It's going to be you and Dennis.
First quarter over now at 18.5, plus 135. So the question is, does Georgia score in 4 minutes and 45 seconds?
Well,
I mean, I don't have any reason to think no right now. Put it that way.
you got to think they're going to have an answer here. They did bog down, but you got to think they're going to have an answer. I think they'll score on this drive, and I think it'll be 7. I think it's going to be 17-7. Line down to 14.5. If you want to pound Georgia a little bit more, you could.
You know, it's wild to me. The line for the game, 14.5. First half, 9.5. So the first half line didn't move very much off that touchdown.
No, not at all. That's surprising. Long commercials.
Dude, college football has a timing problem. I mean, they talk about it in baseball. Man, like last weekend was a brutal.
Horrible.
I mean, just because, you know, I was out of town, me, my wife, cousin, her husband, and me and the cousin-in-law want to watch football. And as it ticks closer and closer to midnight, we're getting more and more pressure to flip over to Miley Cyrus's thing and the ball drop, the Rockin' New Year's Eve, all that stuff. They really got to figure out how to not to have back-to-back 4.5-hour football games with 45-minute halftime shows. It's ridiculous.
I agree.
Oh, we say it every week at the games. It just takes forever to play.
We sit those games, and it gets boring after a while.
It is. Especially on Fox. Those timeouts are 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's made it worse? They now have a clock, and you can watch and see how much time. And it seems like it's longer.
Do they serve beer at those games?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good at least. At least.
Michael sent me an email about a minute before. Well, I don't know when you sent it, but I saw it about a minute before we went on the air. I'll share that story if you give me permission, Michael. He has a heartbreak yesterday at Santa Anita. I thought I did. Michael's got it way worse.
Which 2-horse?
The 2-horse in the last race at Santa Anita.
Okay, all right.
He was live to the pick 6.
That was a number too.
It was the whole number.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The scoopy. That's tough to scoop that Santa Anita pick 6. Already up to 16.5. Something happened here.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Kickoff. Here we go.
They just ran the kickoff back for a touchdown. No, they didn't.
It would have been bigger than 16.5 if they were in the end zone.
Well, I don't know why that moved because he just ran it out to the 30. That's no big deal. Yeah. So yeah, Michael, that was a scooper, and the horse led the entire way except for the last 5 yards.
Yeah.
Of the race. So
the Opry, man, that horse is such a because he's got races good enough to win most of the time, but he never shows up. You usually get a good price on him, and finally he wins yesterday in the worst spot possible.
I know, just awful. Knocked me out of the pick 5 too. So, but I'm not going to complain at all because that getting knocked out of that pick 6 when you have the scoop is worse, way worse.
Georgia with an easy first down on first down.
It's unreal that it feels like the Georgia tight ends are dominating this game.
They've got like 3 really good ones.
They do. Ooh, another first down. First down. Running it.
We're at midfield 30 seconds into the drive.
Yeah. It's just men amongst boys. It really is. I mean, they just look way more physical, bigger. TCU's got all kinds of troubles on defense, I'm afraid.
The key is the offense. Can the offense do what it did last drive consistently? Can they get those big plays, put up points, and be able to make it happen?
Yeah. Hope they're going to take a shot. Nope, thought they were. But
They
why
won.
take a shot when you just throw it to another tight end for 10 yards? I mean, 3 plays, 3 first downs, and no resistance whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
I mean, this is a great over quarter. Not gonna lie, pretty happy.
Oh, yeah. Way over. Way over. I think Georgia's going to score here. My guess is still going to be 2 minutes left on the clock, the way this is going, unless they slow her down a little bit. But now Georgia is huddling a lot, taking their time a little bit more than they did on that first drive. That's for sure. Oh, he's going deep, wide open. Holy cow! Jeez.
Points.
Dennis, I don't know how he's that wide open.
two of them. I mean, the TCU guy was the exact same thing. His ball was underthrown, or else he was gone too.
Guys, number 84 might get 300 receiving yards tonight. I mean, he is dominating this game. Yes.
Sorry, Dr. Tang.
Now listen, Doctor, he has a way of it gets right to the number and then they'll stop scoring. He's on a roll right now. You got don't worry about the doctor.
Yeah, don't worry about him.
Busts everywhere. That's the thing. It's one thing to be overmatched, right?
Yeah.
You run a ball and you kind of get blown off the line of scrimmage, and it's like, shit, what can we do? Busts in the secondaries got nothing to do with being overmatched. That's mental mistakes. That can't happen.
First half moves to Georgia minus 14. The game is back up to 20.5. Back
up to 20, yeah. How does that happen? He didn't even go with that. It's incredible.
Uh-uh.
Well, they had one too few men back there.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, that's the thing is, you can call it a bust, but like
they didn't have enough people.
The safety had to cover the deep crosser.
Yeah.
And then the cornerback was left to choose the guy running right by him or the guy that was about to run right in front of him. And either way, it's going to be a massive play there.
Yeah, if he goes with the deep guy, you're going to throw to the back, and he's probably going to score anyway.
Yeah, and then he just has to make him miss after he's with his back turned to him. So that's as much of a just flooded zone versus a busted coverage.
Yeah, man.
And that's the one thing, like having multiple tight ends, you can create mismatches in situations that are a negative game or negative script for the defense.
Especially when your tight ends are more athletic than the corners and the safeties.
Their best tight end hasn't even got involved yet. The zero guy who's just massive, like
killing them with all these other guys.
Yeah, there's no need.
Yeah, no. Oh boy. Well, we've said it a million times, and we'll say it again. TCU's got to get a drive going right here. They've got to get points, or at least – honestly, no, they've got to get points. They have shown no ability to even slow down Georgia. So here it is. You're going to have to outscore them. That's how you're going to beat them.
Darrell Washington, 6'7", 270 is the tight end who's yet to be involved.
Big run on first down. I think he got it. Yep, first down. Hey, you know what? They've ran it decent, and the quarterback's had time to throw.
Yeah, it's not a trench problem right now.
Nope.
There are other issues, but it's not the trenches.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's good, though. Long term, that could be good. Another good run.
Yep.
Now you want to play quick here if you're TCU.
Well, I don't know. So how much do you?
Well, you want to be when they're in a rhythm, their offense is better.
That's true. I'm just thinking about their defense.
Well, their defense is going to have to do something at some point, right? You got to score.
It's true.
I guarantee you need at least 18 points to win this game now. So you got to get that offense moving.
I think you're going to need 50 to win.
You're going to need 40 at least.
Good first down.
But they are in a rhythm now.
Yeah.
Get back to the line. Don't let Georgia sub.
And when you look at their offensive line, they're as big as Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So on this side of the ball, they're matching up.
Well, quarterback looks much more calm.
Yep.
You know, a couple of nice throws.
Yeah, I agree with this. They're not tired.
That's right. Yeah. And maybe that's the strategy.
Uh-oh. Line jumped to 22.5.
Oh, sack.
The good news is he had time to throw it.
He did. He did have time to throw the ball. It's a coverage sack. That's bad news, but still, they're not getting completely overwhelmed, and I thought they might. Yeah, he's got to get rid of it.
I mean, you have 3 crossers in the middle of the field. It's tough to have anybody open when you're running paired routes like that.
Yeah, 3-man route. You said it. Max protect. Ooh. Oh gosh, good smack, man.
Man, that was a tackle.
Yeah, I thought that might go for something. They ran a little bubble, and he just nailed him.
And that's all she wrote for the first.
Well,
yeah, Georgia minus 5,000 to win after a quarter.
Bet 5,000 to win 100. Who's in on it?
I mean, TCU wins this game 1 in 5,000 times, right?
Oh,
From
absolutely. 2 in 1,000, maybe. Well, there you went.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, that's more like it. 2,000 seems a little more reasonable.
21-point spread. Papa Dude, I'll go to you first. What about forget about who's going to win, lose. What about 21 points?
I don't know.
Would you do
they have they've shown they can move the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
ECU has. So it could, it looks like we could have 31-14 at the end of the half, maybe 34-14, something like that.
Yeah.
If they keep it within there, they could backdoor that and beat that 21. That's what I'm thinking, because they can move the ball. They've moved it a little bit. They're not inept on offense. Pretty much it's going the way we thought. We didn't think they could stop Georgia. We just didn't think their defense was good enough. And that's kind of the way it is right at the moment. They just can't stop them.
Well, if you think TCU is going to score a touchdown, the over first half at 40.5 looks like a bet. Because if TCU gets to 40 or gets to 14, then that means you need 26.5 from Georgia. Georgia's scoring twice in this quarter. Like they're getting 10. So
I think so. I just don't see how they stop them.
Yeah.
They may have to come out of that 3-5-5. They may have to do something because they're just getting gashed. I think what happened on that play, the linebacker didn't get out there and cover the short man is what happened.
Yeah.
On that big play.
Yeah. There's confusion, obviously. And
well, it's interesting. Aaron mentioned Georgia wasn't running as fast, but they broke the huddle and snapped the ball very quickly on that play.
Yeah.
So that usually when you see a quick huddle break and a quick snap like that, you're trying to flood a zone or get someone to be in the wrong coverage.
Yeah.
And that looked like it worked on that spot.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting. They stayed that huddle for a long time, and you're right. But when they showed the big picture, they were huddled right next to the ball, and all of them just went bam and then snapped it, and that was it. I think Georgia minus. Well, now they're 22.5. I'd still take Georgia. I really would. I would hate to play TCU seeing that defense right now. It's helpless. Anything Georgia does is working. So we'll see, though. Here we go. TCU, they need points. That's the big key. Second quarter getting started. They need to get at least a first down, get at least a field goal here, but it's 3rd and long. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a big ask.
well,
good job.
Now they've got a decision to make.
No, you don't. You go for it.
7. You got to go, in my opinion.
I think so too, but they're not going to.
Now, here's the deal. This is why I would go, okay? Your defense, I don't think it matters where Georgia gets the ball.
It does not.
And they're going to punt, I guess.
They had to punt it.
4th and 6. Samich, what do you think about the decision?
I would be going for it.
Yeah.
You need points to win this game. You can't stop them on the other side of the football. This just does not seem like a wide. I mean, I get the idea that you don't want to miss it and be down 24-7 real fast, but like if you're averaging 10 yards a play on the other side of the football, going 90 yards is going to take 9 plays.
And it was 4th and 4.
Matt.
4th and 4.
Yeah. 4th and 6.
6.
6.
Well, you got to show a little bit of faith in your defense, I guess, but I think I would have went for it.
Well, we'll see if it paid off, because if they get a stop, obviously it paid off. If they go 90, then the game's pretty much over. So they've got to force a punt, or at least hold them to 3 at the worst.
I think the only way they stop them is a turnover or a penalty. I just don't think they can stack up.
Good
Or bad play calling.
Good start. Held them to 2 there.
Yep. Georgia was very conservative on that call because they're backed way down. They don't want to make a mistake.
All right, 2nd down and 8. They really hadn't stopped the run at all until that play, so that is good. But listen, it's one play, and it was an obvious run play.
God.
Okay, here we go. 2nd and 8.
All I hear is Papa Dude's feet say wide open.
Play action first.
Yep.
Oh, look who it is, a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Bowers, baby. I mean, this is a triple-headed monster on the tight end side for Georgia. They've got 3 very good ones that they can move around and have fun with.
Well, make no mistake, they're fun to watch.
Now,
did you see this coverage here, Samich? You're talking about number 0, the other tight end, their best tight end. Did you see how many people were around him?
Yep. Looked like he was triple covered.
Yes. That meant nobody covering the other one. Going deep again, and guy wide open. 19 again. Across midfield. I'm glad they didn't go for it. Or glad they punted. That's smart.
Didn't take long, did it?
Absolutely no pressure on the quarterback. None.
No.
It looked like they were rushing 2 on that play, which is just wild to me because you got a tight end who's clearly faster than the linebacker chasing him down the field.
Yeah, they've got to get some pressure.
I mean, you almost start blitzing here. You start bringing 5 and just taking your chance because you're not stopping this way.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh, nice. No gain.
The fact that your voice is that surprised when he doesn't get any yard tells you everything you need to know there.
Well, I assume they'd get 5. All right.
Okay, they brought some heat that time.
Oh, something good happened.
Papa Dude's still a little ahead.
Well, they rushed 6. They rushed 6, and he had to get rid of it quicker. But there was coverage, too.
Yeah, they did bring a couple. I think he kind of
backers
panicked more than anything. The pressure wasn't really there.
They had good coverage, too.
They did. Yep. 3rd down and 10.
There's a huge play.
Interesting that they went delayed blitz there.
Yeah, that was weird.
I'd do it again.
All
They're
right.
showing 5.
3rd and 10.
They're showing 5.
All right, don't tell us what happens, Papa.
Yeah, don't tell us.
God damn it.
I know what happened. Don't say that.
Well, the line just went to 24.5 too.
Well, probably a touchdown then.
Well, they didn't score, but
No, they picked up that first down though.
TCU
Well,
rushing 12.
just bad play.
Oh, geez, he was loose on the edge.
They had 13, lost containment, went flying in there like Oklahoma. Looked like Oklahoma's ends. Pathetic.
Well, again, if Stetson Bennett's out there making plays with his feet, you're screwed.
Yeah, but you can't let
You're
him
not athletic enough.
No, that was a terrible angle. Papa Dude's right.
Yeah, he just lost containment. His job is to not let him get outside, and he just went running in there like an idiot.
Especially, I mean, you're in man behind a blitz, right? Like everyone's running away from the line of scrimmage back to the quarterback. If he gets outside of you, you know there's 10 yards out there.
Right. That's your one assignment.
Well,
You start that out in junior high football. If you're on the end, you don't let the guy outside of you.
don't break contain. I've heard it
Nope.
before. Hey, positive news. They are not able to just line up and run them on this drive, at least. They've stopped the run. The running back run, I should say. That's 3 times they haven't been able to just line up and run over them. That's good.
That's positive. The throwing thing's still working.
Well, guys, I like how we say, don't spoil it. And then
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, your face said it. You have your hand over your head. Right?
All right. Let's see how they gashed him here. Oh, well, that's not that bad, Papa Dude.
Oh, come on.
Another first down. Listen, they're making him work for it this drive.
Yeah.
Except for that wide open tight end 30 yards down the field.
Samich.
Yeah.
It was just a little old
We don't
pass.
talk about the tight ends, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, now we're back to getting 6.
You don't have to be very good when you throw that pass. I mean, God.
Yeah.
That's just. This is going to be awful. This play is. I can already tell.
Sylvain says Papa Dude's got no poker face. I agree. Is Magic gonna do the halftime show? Anybody know?
No.
No, Dennis is going to. I'm gonna send Dennis the link.
His internet's not working because it's raining.
That's right. It's still raining.
Yeah.
Still raining. All right. Well, 1st and 10. Ooh, outside run. No
Got the
containment.
edge.
First down. Ooh.
I do want to know. I was just joking 10 yards of play, but they got to be close, right?
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you take out the 2 runs that got stuffed.
Team stats. They've got 238 total yards.
245 now.
Oh.
They just score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Math again. Look at that.
All right. I'm sending the link to Dennis.
Are you sure?
I'm going to send it to him because we're not going to be here for the second half. So, oh my God. They didn't even try on that. He could have walked in.
He did walk in.
He did. He did. He just trotted.
I'm so happy that TCU punted, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, listen, everybody, I always are mad about analytics and this and that. To me, how you coach in those situations, you have to read the game and read what you're seeing, right?
Yep.
If your defense is playing stout and you're stopping them, go ahead and punt it. But if you're seeing what we've seen on the field, you have to be realistic. And even though the analytics may say, well, you got to punt here, go for it because you're never going to stop them, whether they get it to the 50 or the 10 or the 1 or they're in Georgia and have to drive for a touchdown here all the way in Los Angeles. They're going to score every time they have the ball unless they do something incredibly stupid.
Well, analytics, too, it's a sample size of 10,000 where you run it through a specific algorithm, right? And it tells you, okay, this is an advantage here is 10%, 12%, 2%, 4%. Whenever it's sub 6-7%, field has to become more involved because maybe punting over 10,000 times is the correct play, but this is a 1-of-1 situation. You're only going to be in the national title game one time against this Georgia team with this defense and this offense, and so you got to play outside the box a little bit once you start seeing how this thing is rolling.
Now your overs, Michael's got in on that 60.5. Samich, you've been gung-ho on these overs. They're looking great at the moment, all the way up to 69.5, the live line right now.
See, the thing is like, let's say Georgia slows it down. They're still scoring. Before this game, I talked about how Georgia LSU felt like the comp to me. That was a 80-point game, 50-30. And Georgia's offense just kept putting points on the board. Still feels how this feels. I still think TCU can score on this defense. They had the ball. They scored on one drive. They moved the ball down to the 45-yard line of Georgia on the other. They should be able to put 20 up in this game. If they do, this thing's flying over.
JL saying that the spreadsheets, it's not some static spreadsheet. It does account for things you were talking about now. And he says the analytics would have told them to go for it in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. I mean, I don't know enough about the analytical side to know if they were able to take that exact thing into account and everything in the situation. And the key is, can it take into account the dominance of the Georgia offense and the fact you're going to need to score 40, right? And that's the one outside the rail where you got to decide, okay, how am I going to handle this situation? So, yeah, I agree. Analytics probably said to go for it there because it made more sense to go for it there, especially with what you're seeing from the Georgia offense.
I think analytics, you, me, Papa Dude, Logic, everybody in the football stadium, everybody who's a TCU fan, all was saying to go for it there.
You got to.
You
got a great offense. You got a great offense, so you got to go.
Well, the offense is certainly the strength of the team.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right, Dennis is here. Dennis, there he is.
There he is.
How's it going tonight, buddy?
Well, I'm kind of disappointed.
Good start.
This isn't closer, but I guess I expected it. So
yeah.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Papa Dude, and hi, Aaron. Are we ready to talk about NFL Sunday? What happened Sunday?
Look at the chat, Dennis. As soon as you show up, we get bombarded with these websites.
Of course we do.
Oh, God.
All right. 24/7 here. We're up to 24 and a half. If you want to bet Georgia, you can do that now. Or if you want to take that shot at TCU. So how much, what line would you take on TCU right now? How far does it have to get up before you say, you know what, I'll take TCU now?
I probably wouldn't bet in the first half. I'd rather play the halftime number because I think it could get way out of hand. If this is 38-7 going into half, which isn't out of the realm of possibility here, then you could look back and say, okay, am I laying 3 with TCU in the second half? Is it a pick 'em in the second half? Right. And at that point, that's when I try and start getting involved. Because like right now, Georgia's essentially a 7.5 point favorite for the rest of this game. So they're a touchdown plus favorite. That at some point is going to become about equal with whatever the score is. And Georgia at some point will slow down this offense, right? But it's not going to happen in the first half. And Georgia gets the ball first in the second half. After the Georgia possession, the first possession in the second half is when I would look to come back at TCU if you want a piece of them.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Dennis, are you going to feel horny at any point tonight? Are you going to take the horn?
No. You know, I think the only time to take TCU is half of the total. I mean, because that's like, at least you're like, well, they're going to score something. So there's your total. But there's really, it's over.
Yeah, it is.
It's getting sad. It's getting very sad.
It's getting embarrassing is what it's getting. Papa Dude, Nick Seaver says 68.5 feels like free money. Over 68.5. I still am sitting here saying, TCU's going to have to do something, right?
Well, let's see. 44 more for Georgia. Actually 37.
Okay.
That'll get them to 61. Surely TCU would score another touchdown. 61-14 is looking pretty good right at the moment.
Okay, that's
that
fair.
would be over.
Yeah, I think TCU puts up 21. So the question is, do you think if TCU puts up 21, is Georgia getting to 47, 48, right?
Well, they've got to score 24 more.
Yeah.
In 2.5 quarters. It'll just be, will they let up?
Mike, I think you're being generous.
Yeah, Shotty, the score is 24-7. Oh, maybe she wants us to. She just can't hear it here. I'll write it in the chat for you here. 24/7. You know, the best deal of the night, if we were wherever Shotty works, you're getting those $1 wings. That would have been great.
Yeah.
That's the best.
The good news is we're not going to sit here for 4 hours like last year, Papa Dude. We're leaving at the half.
Yeah, it's looking good. Although I would kind of like to discuss the NFL with Dennis.
Well,
yeah, hey, we'll take it over. We'll do it.
Let me tell you.
Great.
Have you ever seen a worse performance out of a team than Green Bay?
Oh, absolutely not. That was the worst performance. I think
Those guys totally out of control.
Yeah.
Would somebody please explain to me why that guy went in there and grabbed the ball on that? Have you ever seen that?
No.
No.
What in the hell was he doing?
He wants to get fired, I guess.
I don't. It's almost like it almost looked like the sideline told him to go do that. I don't know.
There it is again, Dennis. You're getting these freaking comments when you get here.
Yeah, the Cowboys did lay a
Oh,
significant.
they look good. Yes, the Cowboys. Beautiful performance.
Look, when
They
the
didn't
youngest
need to
guy
win.
on the stream and the hottest guy on the stream comes on, of course you're going to get those comments.
Oh Lord. Yeah. Also, the guy pushing the trainer. I thought that
Oh
was
God.
That was
awful.
bad, yeah.
What are you
Yeah,
doing?
that's what I meant. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I
That was
thought you
awful.
meant with that.
Ugh.
No, don't you remember that guy went in there and tried to get the ball?
Oh yeah, no, I know.
No.
What you're talking
Somebody said that, and I said, "What?" I wasn't watching at that point. I was doing something else. And I said, "What?" See, and you brought that up too, which I'm glad you did. But I said, "What? Somebody did that?"
By the way,
I thought you were talking about the trainer thing, which is very
Oh,
dumb.
that was awful. That was just ridiculous.
bad timing, right, Somich? The game Monday or the Sunday after that Monday night game to push a trainer, not great.
Not great. Not
No,
great.
that's ridiculous.
Bad luck.
No.
I like. I mean, this to me is wild. Still, Dr. Tang talking about the guy who took the Colts in
Oh,
Survivor.
Oh,
Well,
That's
he
circa.
deserves it.
3 people left. 2.4 million if they just split 3 ways. All 3 had Jacksonville available.
oh.
One guy takes the Colts as a pick'em over Houston. And you must have been in despair if you're this dude with 2.4 million on the Colts money line, down 17-7 early in the game. And then you're just jubilation, 31-24. And then 4th and 20, that Hail Mary where the guy just mistimes his jump horribly. Terrible 2-point play call. They get them both. They cover it. Just unbelievable.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Oh,
Speaking of terrible calls,
Oh, jeez.
this is sad because the
That's an arm punt.
semifinal games were so much fun.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
That was an arm punt, though. That's fine.
I think the biggest mystery of this all, and JL, if you're still watching, I'm going to apologize. I think you're a Michigan fan, but how did Michigan kill Ohio State like that?
They got physically dominated in that game.
And then they matched up with Georgia last week, you know?
Yep.
It's like, what happened? And that's 2 years in a row. Michigan has killed them up front. I mean, like you just said, physically dominate them. And I think when everybody saw this TCU team play really well against Michigan, it's like, what just happened? And it's like, oh my God, like Ohio State's going to get murdered in this game against Georgia. And they came out and they could have beaten us to that. Oh, little tight end reverse. These tight ends, my gosh.
These
Bill
look like,
Belichick's got to draft all these guys.
these look like junior high guys. TCU looks like junior high guys
Not the murders,
back in high school.
yeah.
It's bad.
It just shows you how important those Michigan gaffes were last week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, like without those mistakes, I don't think it would have been this bad, but it would have been something like this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be the guy to point out the obvious, but I mean, it just looks like Georgia's becoming Alabama.
That's what we said a while ago.
Yep. You're right. I mean, they look just like how they used to look. This is
They're just rolling people. Yeah.
It's amazing this Georgia team couldn't get the job done 3-4 years ago too. I mean, before that national title, there was like the Georgia can't win the big game talk, all that jazz too.
Yeah.
You got to win it, and then once you do, it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. This is so bad. This is just a team that's just completely overmatched. I mean, completely.
Mm-hmm. <laughs> Yay!
There's not one thing they can do. 'Cause, I mean, they look just like how they used to look. This is so bad. This is just a team that's just completely overmatched. I mean, completely. Yay!
Yay!
There's not one thing they can do. 'Cause Defensively, I'm talking.
Oh, well, they did something defensively, but not much.
They did? Oh, they stopped. So, oh, yeah, but it's still just second down. Now, I'll tell you what. I'll take it back. The one thing they have done better after the first drive, the straight.
Shut up, Aaron. Shut up, Aaron. You better stop.
Oh, they're not.
You're worse than Papa Dude.
I was going to say.
I know it.
Dennis, you and I are actually watching it on TV. They're watching it on streaming. They're way behind us.
Well, guys, it's a 3-yard play. Big deal.
I mean, you say that, Aaron. They're still getting 7 yards a clip on 16 rushes.
Okay, but they were getting 15 when the game started. So.
Well, they just got 15 on the next one. So,
well, God damn it, you did it again.
Papa, dude, I'm still for us taking this over and us being on here the whole game.
This is I don't know if Jason's telling the truth or not. It's totally believable.
it's totally believable. Yes.
You know, it's funny. Last year when we did this, it was like intense. The whole
it was great
because you could tell it was close. They were evenly matched. Within 3 minutes, this broke down into, well, we can't take much serious anymore. It's hard to bet this kind of game now. And what can you really do?
Just root for the over. That's what you can do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to the NFL. Did you guys get so sick of hearing Aaron Rodgers' name last night?
Yeah.
Even after the game.
Huh?
Even after the game. That's all I talked about.
Did you see that he didn't give up his jersey?
Yeah. What a guy.
That's his last game as a Packer, right? He's not going to retire. He's going to force his way out.
I have a prediction. Sean Payton and Aaron Rodgers.
You're going, instead of the Brady Rodgers or Brady Payton?
Oh, is that going to happen?
That's the word, yeah. Miami.
Where's Peyton going? Where's he going?
Well, it's interesting. New Orleans is asking for a first-round pick plus for him because he's still under contract, so you'd have to trade for a coach.
Wow.
So your minimum giving up a first-round pick.
He's still under contract.
So the logical place he ends up is Tampa because they don't have to give anything up for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, Tampa?
I'm sorry, the New Orleans.
New Orleans, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, hey, Dennis, that'd be good if he came back and he brought Tom Brady.
Yeah, the issue with
Actually, you know what, Aaron, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I don't want Tom Brady. I want Taysom Hill to start. I'd rather have that than Jameis or Andy Dalton.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, did he catch that? No.
He
almost caught that.
Oh, he's out of bounds. Would you take Aaron Rodgers?
Not at a $50 million cap hit.
No, yeah, that's probably.
Either. Now, it wasn't his fault they lost last night. They dropped some passes and they did so many stupid things.
See,
But, go ahead. No, I'm just saying I'm not blaming totally him. But how many big games has he won? I mean,
not many.
They're the number one seed every year.
Not this year.
Signing that contract is what killed that team.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's why Devontae Adams wasn't on the team. They didn't have the money to pay him. I mean, it was when you take up that much of the cap, it's a problem.
Oh, this is so bad. They're so bad on defense. It's unreal.
Look at that pass, though.
I know.
He zinged that right in there.
That guy's sad.
There's going to be some good sad fan faces for this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's all blowouts. You don't get to like the shocked sad, but you can just get the sad.
Yeah.
At least 3 of us on this last stream could have got that ball through there. No offense, Papa Dude. I mean, but we could have at least got that ball through there.
I would love to see you throw that football, Dennis.
Hey, I've thrown the football with Samich. I seriously am confident he could have got that ball in there.
Yeah.
He's got a nice arm. He threw a ball from the Keeneland Field parking lot to the grandstand. I saw it.
Was it a Nerf ball?
No. I'm lying, but no, it was that ball right there.
He carries that ball with him. Remember where he goes, by the way.
You know what? You can make fun of me, but I walked into the house at King
Fun idea.
in Lexington, and everyone's like, "You brought a football?" Within 5 minutes, they're like, "Let's go outside and throw the football around."
That football got thrown around so much. And listen to this. Listen to this. Well, I can't. How much can I tell of this? The night before Samich had to leave, the football. It was a situation where the football could have been lost. I'll say that, right? So
Fair point.
he gets ready to leave, and he's like, biscuits. I think I lost the football last night. But me knowing Samich and staying at the same house as Samich, I know that he leaves stuff around, and when he packs, he was so upset about the football. I said, let me go in your room. It was under his bed. So he recovered the football. The look on his face, he was so excited that the football had been found.
I assumed you were going to tell the story how at 2 a.m. driving home, I was throwing the football to strangers at the red lights.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted that story told, so I cleaned it up.
Dennis's face. Like, what?
Meeting you, Mike. Meeting you, I could see that happening though. I really could.
Do you remember you were throwing the football with those guys and they were like, yeah, we're going to a cookout. And you go, Jared, follow him to this cookout. And I was like, hell yes, let's go to that cookout. And you know what he did? He didn't go.
He went home.
Straight.
Football brings people together. That's all you need to know. Everyone threw it back.
Everyone threw it back. Yep. Everybody was having fun. That's good.
Hey, well, let me ask, who caught the most passes?
Who caught
on the football
most?
game? Yeah,
We didn't really have a game. We were just kind of throwing it around.
I feel like I was the best receiver of the bunch.
I'd say it's probably fair.
Yeah.
Well, we know it wasn't Jared.
Now, Magic, he would make a big target, but
Yeah, he
probably
would.
break his leg.
He's a tight end.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
It's the night of the tight end. That's Magic.
Wait, Magic? I've never met Magic, so Magic has a tight end. Is that what you're?
He's tall.
He's a tall dude. Gotta go there.
Gonna have to mute you.
This was not a great quarter for the over here. Not gonna lie.
No.
Okay, guys. Let's get
No,
focused.
it really wasn't.
Get focused.
Listen, if TCU gets a stop here, which I'm sure they're going to, it's still a game, right? No.
No.
Toss sweep.
Yeah.
Outside. Nobody there. 8 more yards.
It's not a game.
No. So, spoiler alert, we are going to leave after this quarter because there's no reason to stay. So,
Oh, really?
really, you're going to enjoy us for another about 10 minutes, I'd say.
Well, I'm watching the next pros, the next professional NFL draft.
No, you're right about that. There's a lot of pros out there tonight, without any doubt.
They're all wearing red.
Well, that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, they are all wearing red.
Well, I don't know, Max. I mean, is Max gonna go to the pros? I mean, I'm
I don't know.
not sure on that.
Well,
no, hard no.
you know what I'm going to say? From the quarterbacks I've seen in the last couple of weeks in the NFL, yeah, I think he probably.
Well, look, I think both the quarterbacks.
Thompson's on a roster. Come on.
Well, I think both of them are going to make a roster, but are they going to be difference makers? No.
You think so? I don't think either make a roster.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Maybe Bennett. I don't think Duggan makes a roster.
Oh, I think so. If Skylar Thompson's on a roster, dude, I mean,
Dobbs.
yeah, Josh Dobbs.
I hear you. I'm just saying.
Davis Webb.
Sylvain said it earlier. If you bet home teams in the NHL tonight, you're crying a river. It's 4-0, 3-0, 2-0, all road teams.
Wow.
All right, let's see here. So the defensive tackle's number 2 overall prospect right now. Georgia offensive tackle at 15. Cornerback at 20. So you got 3 first rounders, it looks like, on the field right now. 2 on the defensive side of the ball, 1 on the offensive line for Georgia.
See, they aren't as good this year. And last year. Golly.
That's an interesting one. Over under Stetson Bennett NFL snaps. I don't even know how you set that line. I mean, I would almost set it at a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. He'll take one snap.
I don't know. Counting
He's
preseason.
5'11", dude.
Yeah, he's
Like-
off the ball.
There are not very many NFL quarterbacks that are 5'11".
We're talking about a guy who is going to
There's
win back-to-back national titles, though.
Yeah, there's a reason he stayed in school after the last one.
No, I know. Yeah, Sylvain, I saw you mention this a little bit earlier. I forgot to comment. The Blues lost in Montreal, but won all the other games on the road trip. They went 3-1 on the road trip, and the one they lost was Montreal. And they beat Minnesota. They beat the Devils. Unreal.
And they beat Toronto.
And they beat Toronto. Yeah. Incredible.
And I would have bet $50 they would lose to the Canadians. So there was no surprise. They didn't play at all.
So
So are some of these NFL playoff teams the worst ever in the
yes.
playoffs?
Yes.
Does a single underdog win this weekend?
No.
Okay. Let's see.
Miami's got no shot in Buffalo.
None.
Seattle's got no shot in San Francisco. Baltimore's got no shot in Cincinnati.
Probably not.
So that leaves Jacksonville and who's a 2.5 point dog, right? Or I think it's maybe 1.5 now.
Now, that would be the one because it's the Chargers.
Okay, I'm with Jason. I think the Bucks have a shot.
I do too because it's Dallas.
Cowboys, exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants win. That would be the one I would lean
That
toward.
would be another one because the Vikings are not very good.
Although the Vikings at home are that's one of the best home field advantages in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take the Giants. I just can't.
I'm not thinking the Chargers are a lock
No.
just because of the Chargers.
Well, and Mike Williams got hurt. If he's out of that game, that's a big loss for them. I have a feeling we have a touchdown here since there you go. Man, it'd be nice if TCU could go down and score a touchdown before half.
Not
You know,
even close.
I even say this too. It does depend on if Lamar or Tua plays. I mean,
Yeah.
I do think that has a huge factor on the NFL side. Because if either one of them plays, it doesn't matter. But if I was going off, if either one of them doesn't play,
I would be shocked if Tua plays.
I think
as a
Tua-
Dolphins fan.
I agree. But if that's the only thing I would say made any difference. But outside of it, if they don't play, then I think the only team that can beat upset is Brady and Tampa
Yeah.
Bay.
Yeah.
They're bad. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, they've got NFC versus AFC Super Bowl lines. You're going to see those come out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the line should be? AFC versus NFC. AFC is the favorite, obviously, because you've got the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals, probably the 3 best teams in football. Are they laying 2.5? Are they laying 3.5?
I would take the AFC minus 2.5 or 3.5.
I'm hoping I can find. I'm waiting to see an AFC NFC line because I'd love to lay the 2.5.
I haven't seen one.
I haven't either.
Who's the favorite right now? Are the Chiefs the favorite at the books? I'm saying.
Yeah, Chiefs are the favorite to win the Super Bowl, 3.5 to 1. The Bills are the second choice, 4.25 to 1. Then San Francisco at 5 to 1, Philly at 5.5 to 1, and the Bengals at 7 to 1. I mean, I wouldn't take any NFC team, not one. I mean, the Phillies as banged up as they've been all year. I can't bet Purdy to win the Super Bowl.
No.
At some point, that's got to come back to them, right? Even though they are by far the best roster in the NFL. And I'm I'm not betting the Bucks or the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Giants. So like that leaves the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I think a swing at 7-1 with the Bengals would be
Me too.
Yeah.
because they're not afraid. They proved they could go on the road and win last year. I think they were getting ready to beat Buffalo in that game where they got canceled. Now, obviously, I know going to Buffalo is a totally different monster, but they proved they could win an Arrowhead last year. They proved they could beat the Chiefs again this year. I think 7-1, that's value.
Well, people keep talking about Buffalo and why they're making these mistakes on offense that you've seen this year, the red zone picks from Allen. Like, I don't think people realize how big of a loss Brian Dable was as their offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
To go from Brian Dable to Ken Dorsey is a massive downgrade at offensive coordinator for the Bills. I think at some point it rears its head in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And, Stetson Bennett kind of reminds me of Ken Dorsey.
It's actually a valid comp. Yeah. I thought about it earlier when we were talking about it.
You think about Ken Dorsey, they won the national title, should have won another one, just got upset. And you had a guy who just had tons of talent all around him, and he could distribute the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of the same person.
Well, Ken Dorsey was tall and was decently regarded out of high school, though.
Okay. But still.
Yeah, he was 6'4".
Listen, size isn't anything.
Hey, I got a horse racing question, by the way, too. Now this is totally off the cuff, and I know I don't do the fantasy draft stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What was your guys' thoughts on Scooby Quando this week at Turfway? That would be a decent pickup for the Turfway circuit.
Turfway's running? Is that a racetrack?
I think we'll have to see. I would wait, as far as claiming him, I would wait to see what happens in the Battaglia. But I think he definitely is one that's on the radar because you have to take that circuit serious because you can get points. And Rich Strike, right?
Yeah.
Papa dude, your face.
Yeah.
Papa dude, you're so upset. It's okay.
No, I don't care.
It's okay this ball's going to jump to 36 and a half.
Dugan is looking like Max Dugan's looking like the Max Dugan we all know and love from the Big 12. He's looking like that tonight.
Let's get another Georgia touchdown.
Yeah.
Let's get to 45.
All right. I want to send a special message to all the Oklahoma fans out there who are delusional. This is how far we are away from anything right now. TCU killed us.
Demolished us.
It wasn't even a game for a minute. And this is what the number one team in the nation is doing to that team.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting ready to go to that conference. Oh, boy. It is going to be so fun.
Man, if you're Ohio State watching this, you're so pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they like if Harrison doesn't get hurt, they probably win that game. They had every opportunity to win that game anyway.
Yep.
And based on this, you got to think that this score would have been probably not as bad, but similar.
Yeah.
Oh, they got better athletes than TCU.
Yeah.
Ohio State does, for sure.
It's just a situation where it is so hard when you line up on defense and you can't do anything. I don't care how good you are everywhere else. If you can't any resistance at all, you can't win the game.
That ball was late. He was open. So who goes first? First overall, Stroud or Bryce Young?
I would take Young.
I would take Young too.
Oh,
if I were the Bears,
touchdown.
Yep, we'll take those. If
I were the over-under's not going to hit, right? Just because the fact that TCU can't score and Georgia's just going to quit.
Well, the Georgia quitting is good for 14. So let's keep that in mind too.
This is awful.
I mean, they're putting up 50 plus, right? I mean, it's 38-7 already.
This reminds me of when OU played LSU.
They're going to score first possession of the second half.
Yeah,
Georgia will.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
So-
and it'll be a game.
So
For sure, a game. I
Yeah,
mean,
Papa dude,
What?
if I'm the Bears, I'm trading Justin Fields and drafting Bryce Young.
Ooh.
Gives me 2 more years under a rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yeah.
get a ton for Justin Fields right now, and I don't think he's actually as good as
I don't either.
we've seen, especially from an NFL perspective, because he doesn't go through progression as well.
Yep.
You can get as much draft capital for Justin Fields or close to it, and
Yep.
take your quarterback number 1 and get 2 extra years on a rookie deal.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Plus, you get another player or two, right? Where you traded him, or would you get draft picks?
I mean, you could probably get a first, 2 firsts, and a player if you wanted.
I wouldn't give up 2 firsts and a player for him, but somebody will.
I bet you could get it.
Yeah.
What do you
I'll
think?
take it as a Saints fan. I'll take it. Can we
Well,
do
let's-
this trade right now on live?
All right.
To be completely clear, this is correct. It will not happen. There's no way they trade Justin Fields. They'll trade out of the pick, but they won't trade Justin Fields. They should, but they won't.
Okay. I got to rebut the I don't think Justin Fields is that good talk. I think if you put him in the right situation, he could be good.
The guy
I
can't
agree.
go through progressions.
Yeah, but he reminds me a lot of like a Jalen Hurts type. And I think if you put him in the right offense, get him a good coach, I think he'd be in pretty good shape. Now, I mean, I think Bryce Young's going to be awfully good, and that plan you laid out isn't the worst for sure. But I think Justin Fields, he showed he's kind of a gamer too, man. This year, I liked what I saw out of him. But he's in a no-win situation with the Bears. They've done nothing to help him. Nothing.
My wheels are turning here, and that's a bad thing. But I'll say this: if Justin Fields and Lamar could get a swap over, it'd be the same quarterback.
Mhm.
It would be.
Yep.
I mean,
That would be a very good place for him to land. I don't think there's any way you'd be able to do it. I mean, you could let Lamar go, but as the Bears, you're not taking Lamar back
No.
because then you have to pay him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think you're saying let Lamar go and Fields
Trade
to the
him.
Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, Lamar's hurt all the time. He is.
And he sucks.
He's not real good, but
hey, wait, Aaron, hold on.
he's hurt a lot. He is.
Yeah.
And he sucks.
And he's fumble prone. That's the main
he's-
thing. It's
and
not
he's
his
not very
accuracy;
good.
it's he's fumble prone.
And he hampers an offense completely because he can only do one kind of offense. So
Yeah.
Justin Fields had only 2 games over 200 yards passing this year.
Hey.
Just saying. Just saying. 2 games over 200.
Hey.
Me and
I want to
Aaron
hear
can
it.
see
Yes.
now.
Yeah, and Rob brings up a good point. I mean, Young is 6 feet tall, so he's also shorter for an NFL quarterback. Just has more of the pedigree on it. And you look at Kyler, who's 5'10". I don't think Kyler's very good. I mean,
I don't either.
it's just there's a lot of issues there.
I think he's too small. I do.
Well, these guys who rely on their legs, at some point, that's going to be a problem.
Yep.
And that's the same thing with Fields, right?
Well, and the difference between Hurts and Murray is Hurts is big.
Mhm.
Yes.
That guy's big.
Mhm.
He's huge.
Well, he can be a physical runner. Yeah.
Oh, he can.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a player.
Yeah, he doesn't get hurt when you get hit by NFL guys more than anything else. I mean, that's what's important.
Right.
Yeah, he's a hoss.
Nick said he's taking TCU plus 37.5.
I would wait until the Georgia drive in the second half because I think Georgia
Yeah.
scores the opening drive,
And
then
you
you
get
just bet
44.5.
back. Yeah, then you get more and you bet back TCU.
Yeah.
Somebody always told me if you could get plus 44.5 in a national championship game, you should take it.
Look, we're over
Well,
half
you
the
know
total.
You
You're getting over half
to
the
be
total
honest-
now. Doug.
Yeah, that's true. It is half the total. I'll say this though, it is more important about when Georgia's just stops versus when TCU gets going. At this rate,
Yep. They come out and score this first possession, I think, though. I think they keep the motor going.
I wonder what you get on defensive score for Georgia.
oh, what the? See, they're interviewing TCU's coach, whose name's forgetting me now. Obviously, they're interviewing him, and it's like, what can you say? Yeah, we got our ass kicked. First down, second down, third down, defense, special teams. We got our ass kicked. Okay,
But we're going to go in and we're going to regroup. We're going to come out and play with pride in the second half. We still got a shot in the second.
Win the second half.
we can cover spread. Yeah, Sonny Dykes. Thank you, Nick.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they're covering the spread.
No.
I like Aaron's 13.5. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been fun.
I got one comment. Is there any way Oklahoma can get out of going to the SEC? Is there any way? Because that's what I'd be doing down there right now.
It's
Yeah.
Missouri and Oklahoma, man. Our two schools be the worst two in the conference.
Well,
Vandy, I guess. You gotta give Vandy the love.
Yeah, Andy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a horrible time to be going to the SEC. I mean, it couldn't have been any worse.
Well-
Georgia's 7-point favorite in the second half, total 27.5.
No, I had if second points. It's got to be TCU.
You could play the under in the second half and have a nice middle over the 62.
Yeah.
You could just turn it off and go watch something else.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I won't watch a play of this in the second half. I
No.
mean, I've seen enough.
I hope I
Leave.
hope TCU comes back and wins.
You guys need to bet more. I'll watch every play until they're over 62.
No.
No.
I do think this may be the most embarrassing. Well, no, wait a minute. USC beat us 55-19. We hold a lot of records in these playoff games, Oklahoma,
Yes,
for
we do.
futility.
We do.
But you also won as the biggest dog.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, many moons ago.
Right. Back when we had balls.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm telling
on that note.
On that note, we're going to get off of here. Unless anybody have any final thoughts. I'll go around the room. Everybody gets one final thought. Then we're done. Dennis, you go first. Final thoughts.
I tell you what, I love Louisville football. We're getting better and better every single day. That's my thought. I got a lot to look forward to. We're a football school now. I don't know if you knew. We're not basketball. We're a football school now. Go Cards. All right, let's go TCU.
I like
I'm
it.
all on that on a Monday.
All right. Papa Dude, final thoughts.
I can't beat that. I tell you what, I am shocked. Dennis, what happened to their basketball team? What is going on up there?
Honestly, we expected it, but we didn't know it was this bad.
Well, why has it dropped that bad?
Because
I mean,
the
they just
allegations, the lack of recruiting, the lack of anybody caring, I think that's basically what's made it drop this bad. So
yeah, I never thought I'd get.
I did read we have a player in basketball that is named McCool, who's on the bench. At this point, I would have to start McCool just for the hell of it.
Why is he on the bench?
Well, because he averages like 0 something a game. He's been playing for Maryland, and he's averaged less than 1 point a game. That's why he's on the bench. But his name's
Good
McCool.
reason.
His name's McCool, and he's there for GPA. So
Okay, I see what you got. Okay, I got you.
All right. I know a guy named McCool, actually. Believe it or not.
Maybe they're related.
Maybe. I doubt it. Very seriously. All right. Samich, final thoughts.
Fade Louisville football next year.
All right. Well, that'll wrap up college football for this show for 2022 - a little bit of 2023. One of the worst years ever in my life of watching college football. Why? Because my program, it used to be proud, is now a joke. We're not a football school anymore. We are a softball school.
Softball school.
Starting very, very soon.
That's right.
And then, Papa Dude, we can be happy for a few months.
That's
So,
right. We are invincible in softball.
That's right. Bring it on. Bring all you bitches on. We will beat all of you. We're going to the SEC.
Our
Doesn't matter. We'll
bitches are
kill
better
them.
than your bitches. No doubt about it.
Just wait till
We own Missouri. We own
Just-
Louisville.
just wait till next year when USC wins the college football title and tell me how bad this year was.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm very confident that won't happen. You know why?
Defense.
Defense. Exactly why. All right, we're leaving. By the way, NFL, go Jacksonville Jaguars. That's my NFL team for the playoffs. Let's go, the Fighting AEW Jacksonville Jaguars. Go. Let's go. All right.
Over
Really?
62.
Time to go. See you guys.
See ya.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.